Friends, welcome to Dr. Ved channel. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor and Head, Veterinary Medicine. We have seen the schistosomiasis part 1. Here we will see schistosomiasis part 2. In this, we will study details about pathogenesis, clinical findings, and clinical pathology of important endoparasitic disease, schistosomiasis. In the previous lecture, we have studied that schistosomiasis produces intestinal syndrome. Here we will see how this intestinal syndrome is produced. The schistosomiasis causes acute intestinal syndrome when there is presence of large number of the adult parasites. Remember here, large number of the adult parasites in the blood vessels. They cause a phlebitis of mesenteric vein. The acute disease is produced because of the large number of the adult parasite in the vein cause the phlebitis of mesenteric vein. The adult parasite, cause partial or complete blockage of the luminous vein. There is an inflammatory and granulomatous response. There are two responses here. Due to parasite there is inflammation. Also because of the parasite there is granulomatous reaction. In heavy infestation, lungs may be involved. There is a passing of large number of the eggs in feces. In feces because the parasites invade blood vessels, the mesenteric veins. So parasites eggs appear in feces. There are severe hemorrhagic lesions in the wall of posterior part of the small intestine and cecum. There are hemorrhagic spots in the intestine of about 1 to 10 millimeter in diameter. An important symptom here is diarrhea with mucus and blood. Because the parasites invade the mesenteric veins cause phlebitis. There is diarrhea with mucus and blood. Important symptom here. Here pathogenesis of chronic intestinal syndrome. We have already seen acute one. Acute is due to large number of the schistosoma invade the mesenteric vein. In chronic cases, as the days passes, the case becomes chronic. There is destruction of intestinal glands that causes digestive disturbance. And on healing, there is a scar formation. And due to this chronic case, chronic intestinal involvement, there is overall deterioration of the general health of the animal. The animal remains weak and debilitated, emaciated, production goes down, and all general health symptoms, the depression, diarrhea, like this. We have seen pathogenesis of intestinal syndrome. The parasite also produce hepatic syndrome. Some of the worm, they partially shift from intestinal mucosa to liver. There is a migration of these immature worms into the intrahepatic portal blood vessels. They migrate to liver. The immature worms are called as Schistosomula. The name of the immature worms, Schistosomula. When they reach to the liver, they cause the congestion of liver in early stage. There is a reaction to migration of this parasite into the liver. At the same time, there is reaction of liver to the eggs of the schistosoma in liver. These reactions are immunological reaction. It is called as immunological syndrome in liver due to eggs. Heavy infestation in liver results a great damage to the liver. And in the liver, there is fibrous tissue formation called granuloma. And it produces chronic hepatic syndrome, clay pipe stem fibrosis. The clay pipe fibrosis syndrome, that means the bile ducts or ductules and migratory channels of this parasite causes fibrosis of this channel, fibrosis of this duct. There is calcification and there is prominent projections of this duct which is very hard and cirrhosis, just like a clay pipe. So it is called as clay pipe syndrome. We have seen intestinal syndrome, hepatic syndrome, and especially Schistosoma nasalis. It produces a very important disease, nasal schistosomiasis. How they produce? We will see here. The adult parasite reach to the vein of the nasal mucosa. In other, we have seen that parasite reach to the veins of the intestine and to the liver. But here something different. Schistosoma nasalis, adult parasite, reach to the vein of the nasal mucosa. There is dilatation of vein and there is thrombosis of vein. There is inflammation of the nasal mucous membrane, rhinitis. In the nasal mucosa, there are small granulomas and small abscesses which contain eggs of this Schistosoma nasalis. The small granuloma develop into the large fibrous tissue growth. Then slowly it grows in more size and there is a large cauliflower-like granulomatous growth in the nasal passage. This is the important pathogenesis, important things. Large cauliflower-like granulomatous growth in the nasal passage is the characteristic of disease. This is called as nasal granuloma. Granulomatous growth, granuloma in nasal cavity or nasal mucosa. In Hindi, it is called as nasa. Because of this nasal granuloma, it partially obstructs the nasal passage. So during respiration, inspiration and expiration, it causes partial obstruction. And due to this, there is a sound called as snoring sound from the nasal passage. It is exactly like snoring sound from the nasal passage. And this snoring sound a clinician can hear from a reasonable distance. It is that much loud. The loudness of the sound, snoring sound, depends upon the amount of obstruction. In chronic cases, there is proliferation of nasal epithelium. An important finding is that serosanguinous nasal discharge from the nose. It contains the mucus and it contains the blood also. This is the characteristic. Serosanguinous nasal discharge from the nose. Snoring sound from nasal passage. There is granuloma growth in the nose. These are the characteristics of the disease. We have studied the pathogenesis, and if you understand the pathogenesis, to understand the clinical finding is very easy. The clinical finding are found migration of schistosoma through lungs. So temporary symptoms of lung obstruction, and there is short period of coughing, and this coughing is sometimes very short and it usually passed unnoticed or unrecognized. But the clinical findings are mainly three types: intestinal and hepatic syndrome and nasal granuloma. We will discuss this intestinal and hepatic syndrome together, nasal granuloma, and we will see clinical findings in men also. It is of clinicians' interest. Clinical pathology, there is anemia because the blood is affected. There is constant low grade of hemorrhage. As this is a parasite, it induces allergic reaction, so there is eosinophilia. Due to sucking of the blood, there is hypoalbuminemia, and also because of the leaking of this albumin into the secretion, there is hypoalbuminemia. There is hypergammaglobulinemia. There is dyshemopoiesis, formation of blood cells reduced. There is expansion of the plasma volume. Friends, requested to send this information to veterinarians and veterinary students. Subscribe the channel to make the channel more progressive. Thank you very much for observing this video.